Welcome back to Magic Weekend Paris 2011 with me, your host Rich Hagan, and the Hall of Famer from the Netherlands, Mr. Frank Karsten. Frank, great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. Frank has a history of many, many great decks, and he makes them in some pretty unusual ways. But one way that most of you at home will be familiar with is you're sitting there in the car, it's the day before the tournament, you've got cards in the footwell, you've got cards in the rucksack, you've got cards in the glove box, and you're going, what can we play? And you're pulling them out. Frank, tell us how this deck on the table came to be.
Okay, well, so I was basically driving to Paris together with Camille Cornelissen, several other Dutch players, Ruben Snijderwind, Bas Melis and Job Meertens. We were discussing some decks and what we were going to play, and I hadn't really found a deck I really liked yet. I knew I wanted to play some aggressive deck at this tournament, since I figured the format would be tuning itself to beat Jace the Mind Sculptor and Primeval Titan, so I wanted to come from a different angle. But yeah, I was still looking for a right deck, and then at some point I had an idea, like all these, these Ornithopters, Memnites, bad cards. They work excellent with Quest for the Holy Relic, and they also work quite well with Battlecry. So when you mix those two together, I built like a mono-white Battlecry Quest deck.
Let's have a look at it.
Yeah.
From the top then, we've got 4 quests for the Holy Relic, so you want to get plenty of counters on that, and then go and get the big daddy of the deck, the Argentum Armor. It's an absolutely savage card, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and it can come out pretty quickly with Quest for the Holy Relic and just wreck the opponent completely.
So the key is all about getting as many counters on there as quickly as possible, which brings us to row 2. The 4 Ornithopters, the 4 Memnites. You notice cost 0. You get quite a lot in this deck for 0. Generally, you don't expect to get something for nothing, but here you really do. So, Ornithopters and Memnites. Tell us about the 3rd row then. These are the Glint Hawks and the Kor Skyfishers.
Like basically, if you have an Ornithopter or Memnite, these just count as, say, 2 creatures for the Quest for the Holy Relic, since you just bounce one of those 0-cost artifacts and play them again.
So you cast the Glint Hawk and then go, let's return the Ornithopter, replay it, hasn't cost you any mana, so that's the perfect combo. And the same with the Kor Skyfisher, back it comes, Memnite, in any combination.
Yeah, and even if you don't have Quest for the Holy Relic, they're pretty efficient creatures that can attack
2,
quickly
3
in the air.
flyers for 2 and 2, 2 flyers for 1. All right, next row down, this is where we sort of start to get the flavour of the second half of the deck. This is the Accorder Paladin, new mechanic coming out of Mirrodin Besieged, the Battle Cry, and the same for Signal Pest. I'm kind of wondering whether Signal Pest is the best 0-1 since Tarmogoyf. It's actually quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, in this deck it is it's really key. Like this mono-white Quest for the Holy Relic did exist before Mirrodin Besieged, but I don't think it was all that good. Like on the one hand, you got all kinds of bad draws sometimes with lots of Ornithopters and Memnites, and you just didn't do anything. And also sometimes you would draw a Glint Hawk without an artifact. Like Signal Pest in particular works very well in like fixing up those holes in the deck.
Yeah, and how important is this clause, the bit that says it can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach? Because historically, cards like this that grant the bonus, they get to do it once, and then you go, well, that's obviously the card I'm going to block, but here that's a real issue.
Yeah, otherwise the opponent would just block with a small guy. And I've also used it quite often in combination with the Argentum Armor. Signal Pest is a perfect carrier of the armor, basically unblockable, so that helps a lot.
6/7 unblockable functionally.
Yeah.
All right, the next row along, Steppe Lynx has been around forever, so has Squadron Hawk. 4 of the Steppe Lynx, it's been pretty much 4 of everything along the way. And then, wait, what's this doing, Frank? Where's my 4th Squadron Hawk?
Yeah, most people think Squadron Hawk is like either a 4-off or you don't play it, but that's not really true. Like 3 Squadron Hawk, it might seem very strange, but it's not as bad as you think, because like if you play 4 Squadron Hawk, there's a substantial chance that you start with an opening hand with double Squadron Hawk, and that's pretty bad.
2 of those not good.
Yeah, and if you play 3, the chances of drawing 2 is a lot less. In addition to that, like the 4th Hawk is usually the worst one. Like say the first 2 Hawks, those really matter a lot. The 3rd can also come out and impact the board. The 4th Hawk in most matchups, yeah, the game is already over before you even play the 4th Hawk. And well, I didn't really know what to cut for the 4th Hawk. All other cards in the deck seemed more important, so yeah, 3.
Okay, Frank, tell me honestly, is that actually true, or were there only 3 Squadron Hawks in the car? Is that how it went? Come on, really? Okay.
No, not really.
Okay, let's go to the land then. We've got 4 contested Warzone. Again, the new rare coming out of Mirrodin Besieged. That's once more effectively Battlecry again.
Yeah, it's the same functionality.
Yep.
Yep.
And then for those of you building this at home, 4 Marsh Flats, 4 Arid Mesa, and then 11 planes. But we're going to come across now to the side and look at the sideboard. So we've got 1 Journey to Nowhere up at the top here. Tell us about the Refraction Traps. What are they about?
They're mainly against Valakut.
Okay.
Like, yeah, there are various weenie or aggressive decks that I tested that were pretty bad after sideboard against Valakut because they have all these sweepers from Pyroclasm to
Slagstorm, of course,
and that's pretty annoying. This deck, on the other hand, well, main deck it actually makes a chance against Pyroclasm based on like Quest for the Holy Relic, which just wins the game, or like 3 toughness Kor Skyfisher. But the refraction traps in the sideboard can also help a lot in basically countering Pyroclasm and dealing 3 to them as well.
Okay, Kor Firewalker, protection from red, not hard to work out where that goes. Jinxed Idol's a fun card that can do very nasty things against certain decks.
Yeah, it's meant against, say, blue-black control. Yeah, you just play it, and if they have like a Black Sun Zenith, then you just sacrifice a guy and they get some Jinxed Idol that will probably deal a lot of damage, and it's hard for them to get rid of.
Sort of Feast and Famine. If you haven't got any of these yet, you probably want to. This is a big card this weekend. And then, oh look, there's the 4 Squadron Hawk.
In some matchups you do want the 4th Hawk.
Okay,
So.
You came prepared. And then, these aren't proxies, these are actual straight up planes?
Yeah, they're there for a reason. It's not like we only had 73 real cards in the car. And, no, they're meant against aggressive decks. Basically, the 4 contested war zones are pretty bad when your opponent is attacking you as well.
Sure.
So you want to be able to switch out some contested war zones for planes.
Take a couple of those away, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Now that's the deck. You can see it across the whole table. It looks beautiful. I'm a big fan of the white art in General Imagine. I think it looks lovely at the table. But the question is, I know it's good because both Frank and Camille Cornelison went 4-1 with it in Standard yesterday. Standard getting underway again now. But my question for you is it fun?
Well, I had one game at this Pro Tour where on turn 2 I attacked with like a 7/7 Memnite with an Argentum Armor attached, destroying my opponent's only lands. Well, that was fun. For me.
But that's all you can ask for, because somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. If you want you to be the winner, maybe you want to sleeve up Cargo with Frank Karsten, the Hall of Famer. For Frank Karsten, I'm your host, Rich Hagan, saying bye.